Hello friends. Have you ever wondered what happens when the dreamer meets the doer? When the intuitive soul of a Pisces man crosses paths with the analytical mind of a Virgo woman, you get a union that's as complex as it is compelling. This is a cosmic tale of opposites attracting, and sometimes clashing, in love, friendship, business, and life. Let's dive deep, sign by sign, heart by heart, into the Pisces man and Virgo woman compatibility. Will their stars align or combust? Let's find out. Love, when water meets earth. Picture this: the Pisces man stands barefoot at the edge of the ocean, waves curling softly around his ankles, the night sky above filled with stars he actually wishes on. His mind? Somewhere between a fairy tale and a love song. He's not just looking for romance, he's waiting for a soul to intertwine with his, someone who gets the poetry in his silence. Then there she is. The Virgo woman. She's not swept up in dreams, she's walking the shoreline with calm precision, noting the changing winds, calculating moon phases, maybe even mentally redesigning the coastline just a bit. Clipboard or not, she sees the world not as it could be, but as it is, and she's working to make it better. To the outside world, this looks like a mismatch. Idealist meets realist. Dreamer meets doer. He lives in feeling, she lives in facts. But look a little closer, and something far more interesting is happening. The Pisces man, ruled by Neptune, is full of depth. He's the romantic who believes in destiny, who writes love letters in his head before he even gets her number. He lives for emotional connection, craves vulnerability, and often seems more in tune with the unseen than the here and now. He doesn't just love, he feels love in ways most people can't explain. The Virgo woman, ruled by Mercury, is thoughtful, reserved, and deeply intelligent. She analyzes before she acts. She doesn't fall in love on impulse, she falls in love by observation, by the quiet accumulation of consistent moments. She watches how someone treats a waiter, remembers small details they mention once, and builds her affection like an architect, carefully, precisely, but with long-term intention. Their connection starts subtly. No lightning bolts or instant chemistry. Instead, it's like two puzzle pieces slowly rotating until they finally click. Pisces is mesmerized by Virgo's intellect, her serene strength, her unshakable grace under pressure. In her, he finds grounding. He feels safe in her presence, even if she doesn't always understand his emotional tides. Virgo is cautiously intrigued by Pisces. At first, she might think he's impractical or too idealistic. But then she sees his emotional intelligence. His sensitivity. His unspoken understanding of her stress, his ability to intuit her moods without her having to explain them. He makes her feel seen, not for her achievements or logic, but for her heart. And that catches her off guard in the best way. Their love is slow to ignite, but once it does, it glows steadily. Think less fireworks, more candlelight dinner during a thunderstorm, intimate, grounding, full of quiet beauty. Pisces teaches Virgo the magic of surrender. To relax, to dream, to feel instead of always calculate. With him, she laughs more. She worries less. She starts to understand that life doesn't always need a spreadsheet. And Virgo? She gives Pisces structure. Not in a restrictive way, but in a supportive one. She reminds him to eat breakfast, to finish projects, to stand up for himself when the world wears him down. With her, he feels protected. Directed. Capable. Her realism helps him channel his creativity in ways that actually work. But here's the hard truth: this relationship is also full of challenges. Pisces, in all his emotional beauty, can be inconsistent. He forgets things. He procrastinates. He gets lost in his imagination or retreats into silence when overwhelmed. To Virgo, who thrives on clarity and follow-through, this feels careless. Even hurtful. Meanwhile, Virgo can be overly critical, even when she means well. She doesn't sugarcoat. She points out problems before offering praise. Her standards are sky high, not just for herself, but for her partner too. And Pisces, who wears his heart on his sleeve, can feel crushed under her words, like he's constantly disappointing her. Conflict usually happens in quiet ways. Virgo withdraws into silence, hurt by Pisces' perceived laziness or emotional chaos. Pisces, feeling misunderstood or judged, disappears emotionally, daydreaming, isolating, or retreating into his private world. Miscommunication builds. Emotions simmer. Resentment brews under the surface. But here's the thing, both of them want to make it work. Neither sign is careless with love. Pisces doesn't give his heart unless it's real. Virgo doesn't commit unless she sees potential. So when they come together and decide to stay, it means something. It means they're willing to try. And when they do, they learn. Virgo learns that love isn't a checklist, it's a feeling. She softens. She stops needing every answer. She lets go of needing to be right all the time and starts trusting the unpredictable beauty of love. Pisces shows her how to live in the moment. How to cry without apology. How to love without needing proof. Pisces, in turn, learns the power of consistency. Of showing up. Virgo teaches him that boundaries are not rejection, they're protection. That discipline can fuel creativity instead of stifling it. He begins to see that love doesn't just live in words or emotions, but in small, practical acts of devotion. When they find this balance, when he meets her halfway in structure, and she meets him halfway in surrender, they create something rare. Not just romance. Resonance. It's not loud. It's not flashy. It's not made for Instagram captions. But it's real. It's deep. It's built on mutual growth, not just chemistry. So picture them again, years later. Still walking that same beach. He's still barefoot, still dreaming, still lost in thought. But now, he's holding her hand. She's still analyzing the tides, but now, she pauses to listen to his stories. They've learned to move in rhythm. To respect the pull of each other's tides. Because when water meets earth, it doesn't have to be erosion. Sometimes, it's the beginning of something alive. A river carving its path. A garden fed by rain. A love that sustains. Sex, the quiet storm. Let's talk about intimacy, not the Hollywood, rose petals on the bed kind, but the real, soul-touching, time-stopping kind that unfolds when a Pisces man and a Virgo woman come together behind closed doors. This isn't about flashy performances or instant gratification. It's deeper. It's quieter. It simmers instead of explodes, and that's exactly what makes it unforgettable. The Pisces man approaches sex like it's a love language composed in poetry. For him, physical intimacy is never just a physical act. It's emotional. Mystical. He doesn't just want to touch, he wants to connect. Deeply. He senses moods, body language, subtle shifts in energy. Without a word, he knows what his partner needs, where to linger, when to pause, how to create moments that feel like time is suspended. With Pisces, sex isn't routine. It's ritual. Sacred, even. He wants to melt into his lover, to dissolve the barriers of body and self until there's only feeling. And then there's Virgo, often misunderstood in this arena. At first glance, people think she's reserved, maybe even repressed. Not true. Virgo women are cautious, yes. Discerning. They don't give themselves easily, because they need to trust, not just the person, but the space, the moment, the intention. But once that trust is established, everything changes. The Virgo woman becomes one of the most attentive, responsive, and sensual lovers you can imagine. She listens with her hands, explores with her mind, and expresses her affection through the details, where a touch lands, how long a kiss lasts, the way she breathes against your skin when the world is still and nothing else matters. When these two come together, their chemistry isn't immediately fiery. It's not wild, impulsive, or chaotic. It's subtle, like a current under still water. It builds in layers, slow, meaningful, precise. Pisces brings emotion, intuition, and flow. Virgo brings presence, patience, and deep focus. Together, they create a rhythm that's less like a spark and more like a storm cloud forming, quiet, thick with tension, and absolutely charged with energy. In the early stages of their connection, sex might be a gentle exploration. Pisces will wait for Virgo to relax into the experience. He's in no rush. He prefers the long gaze, the slow build, the dance of anticipation. Virgo, once comfortable, begins to surrender in stages. She lets go of control, one breath at a time, and starts to trust her body, her instincts, and her partner. With Pisces, she feels safe to do that, because he's not judging, not rushing, not demanding. He's just there, completely. What grows between them is something rare. The act becomes communication. It becomes therapy. It becomes release. Pisces draws Virgo into the emotional depths she often avoids in her waking life. He teaches her that pleasure is not weakness, that feeling deeply doesn't mean losing control, it means opening the door to something powerful. Meanwhile, Virgo anchors Pisces. She shows him that presence matters just as much as passion. That intention enhances intensity. That being focused in the moment, not drifting through fantasy, can be just as transcendent. As time goes on, their connection evolves. Their intimacy becomes a language of its own. They learn each other's bodies like maps, with Virgo memorizing every curve and Pisces intuitively knowing when to explore and when to stay still. There's no performance here, no pretending. Just presence. Just honesty. Just two people dissolving into each other's space. But, like all beautiful things, this too has its shadows. Pisces needs emotional expression like air. If he feels unseen or emotionally disconnected, he pulls away, sometimes silently. He may stop initiating, stop responding, retreat into his dreams where everything feels safer. For Virgo, who values consistency and clarity, this can feel like rejection. She might internalize it, wonder what she did wrong, or worse, start building emotional walls. On the other hand, Virgo can be unintentionally distant. If she's stressed, distracted, or feeling emotionally unsafe, she'll compartmentalize sex. She'll engage, but the heart won't be fully present, and Pisces can feel that immediately. He senses the missing frequency, the cooling of the current. And it hurts. That's where trust and communication come in. For this connection to thrive, they need to talk, not just about desires and boundaries, but about fears, emotions, and expectations. Pisces needs to feel that his vulnerability is welcome. That he can speak in metaphors and still be understood. Virgo needs to know that her practicality won't be shamed, that her need for clarity doesn't make her cold. Once these conversations happen, and they must happen, something profound begins to unfold. Their physical intimacy deepens. Becomes richer. Less like an act, more like a shared language of healing and devotion. Every kiss becomes a question, do you still see me? Every touch becomes an answer, yes. Always. In this connection, sex is never just sex. It's a mirror. A storm cloud full of quiet thunder, rolling in slow across still waters, charged with truth, passion, and the kind of intensity that sneaks up on you, not with noise, but with meaning. And when it rains, it doesn't destroy. It cleanses. It connects. Marriage, opposites, united. What happens when a Pisces man and a Virgo woman stand face to face and say, "I do"? It's not a conventional fairy tale. There are no perfect days stacked one after another. No endless harmony. But that's exactly what makes this union so compelling. It's real. It's raw. And when nurtured, it's one of the most spiritually and emotionally transformative marriages the Zodiac can offer. At first glance, they seem worlds apart. Pisces is ruled by Neptune, god of dreams and illusions. He's intuitive, fluid, and often guided by feelings more than facts. Marriage, for him, is a deep emotional bond, a sacred connection where love should be unconditional and transcendent. He wants to feel like he's living in a shared dream with his partner, something poetic and beyond the ordinary. Virgo, ruled by Mercury, is grounded in logic and driven by a need for order and efficiency. Marriage, to her, is a lifelong project built on effort, planning, and mutual responsibility. She wants schedules, clarity, a clean kitchen, and a retirement plan. For Virgo, love shows up in reliability, getting up early, remembering the milk, making sure the car is serviced on time. That's affection to her, practical, dependable love in motion. So when these two step into marriage together, they're not just combining bank accounts, they're combining two completely different life philosophies. And yet, that contrast is their strength. The Virgo woman offers the Pisces man something invaluable: stability. She brings structure to his dreamscape. When he forgets to follow up, she handles the details. When he drifts too far into emotional overwhelm, she's the calm in the storm. Her routines anchor him, her realism provides a foundation he can build on. She becomes the architect of their shared life, patient, thoughtful, reliable. The Pisces man, in return, breathes color into Virgo's grayscale world. He softens her sharp edges. When she gets lost in checklists and critiques, he reminds her of the beauty in chaos. He inspires her to stop and listen to music without multitasking. To hold hands for no reason. To believe that not everything needs fixing, that sometimes, just being present is enough. His warmth melts her caution. His creativity expands her vision. Together, they build a marriage that's as dynamic as it is balanced. One offers roots. The other, wings. But it's not all poetic metaphors and heart-shaped pancakes. Virgo's desire to help can easily slip into control. She's a perfectionist by nature. And when she sees Pisces lost in yet another existential fog, skipping appointments, or forgetting the trash day, again, she may feel compelled to correct, fix, or micromanage. Her criticisms, while well-intentioned, can feel to Pisces like daggers. He doesn't hear help, he hears, "You're not enough." Pisces, when wounded, doesn't confront. He escapes. Into his inner world. Into silence. Into distraction. He may physically be there, but emotionally he checks out. He stops communicating, stops showing up. And Virgo, needing clarity and engagement, begins to feel abandoned, left to carry the weight of the marriage alone. If they don't address these patterns early, resentment builds. Virgo feels like a single parent, Pisces feels like a misunderstood child. The very things that once attracted them become the things they blame. Her order becomes nagging. His dreaminess becomes avoidance. They lose sight of the partnership. But here's the secret: if they learn to truly see each other, not through the lens of expectation, but through the lens of compassion, their marriage transforms. Virgo must realize that Pisces doesn't need to be fixed. He needs to be accepted. Supported. Listened to. Not everything needs a solution. Sometimes, just sitting beside him in silence, holding his hand while he sorts through his emotions, is more powerful than a to-do list. Pisces, in turn, must understand that Virgo's need for order isn't about control, it's about security. She's not trying to stifle him. She's trying to create a safe space where love can live. He must show up. Be consistent. Handle his share of the responsibilities, even when it's boring, even when he'd rather be writing poetry to the moon. The magic happens when they both begin to respect, not just tolerate, their differences. They develop rituals that honor both their needs. A budget meeting over coffee and candlelight. A weekend trip planned with just enough structure to soothe Virgo, but enough spontaneity to thrill Pisces. A home that's both organized and filled with art. A shared calendar, and shared dreams. When conflict arises, they learn to pause. To talk, not to win, but to understand. Virgo learns to soften her delivery. Pisces learns to stay present. They build emotional fluency, and with it, trust. Real, deep, enduring trust. Over time, their marriage becomes something greater than the sum of its parts. It's not just a functional household or an emotional haven, it's both. They become each other's opposites and complements. She's the compass. He's the map. She's the planner. He's the dream. She makes sure the ship is seaworthy. He makes sure it has a destination. One becomes the anchor. The other, the sail. And together, they weather storms. They navigate still waters. They move. They grow. They last. Friendship, a quiet loyalty. When a Pisces man and Virgo woman come together as friends, something beautifully understated happens. This isn't a friendship built on wild nights out or constant texting. It's built on presence. On being there when it counts. On showing up quietly, but consistently. While others are out chasing attention, these two are sitting side by side, digging deep into conversations most people shy away from. They're not loud, but their bond speaks volumes. Pisces, with his dreamy eyes and compassionate nature, is the friend who feels your mood before you've even spoken. He's the one who notices when you're not okay, even if you're smiling. He listens with his whole heart, never rushing you, never needing you to be more together than you are. When you're drowning in emotion, he's the raft. Soft, understanding, and impossibly gentle. Virgo, on the other hand, is a realist wrapped in subtle kindness. She notices details. The crack in your voice. The twitch in your smile. And unlike Pisces, who holds space, Virgo takes action. You're struggling. She's already Googled 3 solutions. She's sending resources. She's writing out a plan, color-coded if necessary. She may not coddle, but she cares, fiercely, and her help is always practical and grounded. As friends, they are different in approach, but complementary in spirit. Pisces brings emotion. Virgo brings logic. Pisces offers unconditional acceptance, no pressure, no judgment, just presence. Virgo offers wisdom, sometimes blunt, sometimes surgical, but always with the goal of helping. He lets her be vulnerable. She helps him be responsible. And in between, they meet somewhere beautiful, a space of quiet loyalty and mutual growth. They're the kind of friends who check in without fanfare. A thoughtful message on a hard day. A cup of tea when words aren't enough. A ride to the airport at 5 a.m., no questions asked. This friendship isn't transactional. It's foundational. They challenge each other in the right ways. Virgo pushes Pisces to act. To take that dream and do something with it. To stop talking about writing a book and actually write it. Pisces helps Virgo soften. To stop overthinking every step. To take a break. To breathe. To cry without apologizing. But let's be honest, it's not always smooth sailing. Virgo's constant analysis can feel harsh to sensitive Pisces. He may internalize her critiques, even when she means well. Her logical mind can clash with his emotional sensitivity, and sometimes, she'll call him out in a way that feels cold. She doesn't sugarcoat. He needs sweetness. Cue the occasional hurt feelings. On the flip side, Pisces' fluid nature can frustrate Virgo. He forgets things. Cancels plans last minute. Spends more time daydreaming than doing. To a Virgo who thrives on schedules and dependability, this can feel irresponsible, even inconsiderate. She may see him as flaky. He may feel she's judging him too harshly. But here's the magic, they don't give up on each other easily. Virgo sees the good in Pisces, even if she sighs while doing it. She knows he's not careless, just lost in his own world sometimes. Pisces, in turn, sees the heart behind Virgo's precision. He knows she critiques because she cares. That her honesty is a form of devotion. Over time, their friendship deepens. Trust builds. They learn how to speak each other's languages. Virgo becomes more compassionate in her delivery. Pisces becomes more grounded in his actions. They adapt, not by changing who they are, but by expanding who they can be for each other. And it's that quiet adaptability that makes their friendship last. They may not talk every day. They might live in different cities. Their lives may take wildly different paths. But when the phone rings, or the crisis hits, they're there. No drama. No guilt. Just an unspoken understanding, I've got you. It's the kind of friendship that survives decades. That evolves through career shifts, relationships, heartbreaks, and personal reinventions. They cheer each other on, even when their methods are different. Virgo shows up with spreadsheets and snacks. Pisces shows up with playlists and emotional support. Both are invaluable. And when they laugh, it's not just from the joke, it's from the shared relief of being understood. Because in a world that moves fast and values loud connections, the friendship between a Pisces man and a Virgo woman is a quiet rebellion. A soft, steady reminder that real loyalty doesn't need to shout. It just stays. Business, the visionary and the strategist. Now this is a duo you don't see coming, but once you do, you'll wonder how the world ever functioned without them. A Pisces man and a Virgo woman entering the business arena together isn't just intriguing, it's alchemy. It's what happens when imagination collides with execution, when intuition finds its match in logic, and when the dreamer finds the planner who can actually bring the dream to life. Let's start with Pisces. He's the idea machine. The one sitting in a cafe with a sketchpad or talking to himself in metaphors. While others are focused on competition or the quarterly report, he's busy envisioning a new kind of experience, a brand that heals people, a product that touches lives. His mind swims in possibilities. He's not just thinking outside the box, he's creating a world where the box never existed. Whether it's launching a social impact startup, building an online art community, or opening a holistic wellness space, Pisces brings vision that's deeply human and profoundly imaginative. Then enters Virgo, the ultimate strategist. While Pisces is caught in a flow of ideas and possibilities, Virgo is opening spreadsheets and building systems. She's the kind of person who color codes files for fun. Where Pisces dreams of the product, she reverse engineers the entire supply chain. She's already identified key demographics, competitive pricing, licensing requirements, and contingency plans, all before Pisces finishes his second sentence. She's not trying to dim his creativity, she's just making sure it doesn't float away. Together, they're unstoppable. Pisces provides the soul. Virgo, the spine. His imagination gives the business depth, story, and emotional resonance. Her structure gives it clarity, direction, and sustainability. He envisions what could be, she grounds it in what must be done. It's not just a good partnership, it's a business model in itself. Take, for example, the idea of opening a wellness cafe. Pisces imagines a place where people sip herbal teas while listening to acoustic jazz and attending full moon meditation sessions. He's painting walls in soft blues in his mind. He's picturing the community bulletin board and the feeling of serenity in every corner. Virgo, meanwhile, is pricing wholesale tea blends, analyzing local foot traffic, calculating lease expenses, and drafting the first month's marketing calendar. She's not just dreaming it, she's building it. Of course, as with any partnership of opposites, the friction is real. Pisces is fluid, emotional, and nonlinear. He works in bursts of inspiration, which means he may miss deadlines, forget to send emails, or completely change direction halfway through a pitch meeting. Virgo, on the other hand, thrives on clarity and consistency. She can get frustrated when Pisces drifts, when he ignores data, or when he disappears into a brainstorming rabbit hole instead of sticking to the task list. She wants structure. He wants freedom. This is where communication becomes mission critical. Pisces has to respect Virgo's need for order, not as a limitation, but as the engine that powers the vision. Without her spreadsheets, budgets, and project management tools, the dream stays just that, a dream. Virgo, in turn, has to loosen her grip a little. Not every plan needs a flowchart before it takes its first breath. Sometimes, magic happens in the in-between moments, in the chaos of unplanned brilliance. She needs to allow for those flashes of Pisces genius, even when they throw off the original schedule. If they can navigate this dance, respecting each other's rhythm, even when it's out of sync, then they have something few business partners ever achieve: total balance. And that balance is powerful. Pisces sees what people want, often before they know it themselves. He designs with empathy, with heart. He makes sure the business feels like something. Virgo ensures that people can access it, understand it, and rely on it. She makes sure it works. He leads with passion. She leads with precision. He imagines the destination. She draws the map. They also balance risk. Pisces is not afraid to dream big, but he can be overly idealistic. Virgo brings healthy skepticism. She questions, challenges, and anticipates obstacles. Together, they can pursue bold ideas without falling off a cliff. Pisces stretches the vision. Virgo tightens the bolts. When challenges hit, as they always do in business, it's this duality that sees them through. Pisces brings calm in chaos, often acting as the emotional compass when stress levels skyrocket. He reminds the team why they started, what the deeper purpose is. Virgo becomes the fixer, the decision maker, the one who rolls up her sleeves and says, "Here's what we do next." It's heart and hustle, empathy and execution. The verdict: can this work? So, let's get to the heart of it. Can a Pisces man and Virgo woman really make it work? The short answer is, yes. But not because it's easy. Not because they're naturally in sync. And definitely not because they think the same way. In fact, that's exactly what makes it workable. It's the slow-burning kind of compatibility that isn't flashy or effortless, but profoundly meaningful when nurtured. Let's be clear, this isn't a textbook fairy tale. Pisces and Virgo are opposite signs on the zodiac wheel, and that's not just a poetic detail. Astrologically speaking, opposing signs represent mirror reflections. They see in each other what they're missing in themselves. It's magnetic, it's challenging, and when done right, it's life-changing. These aren't two people who blend seamlessly. These are two people who stretch, pull, and evolve through one another. Pisces is water. He flows. He dreams. He absorbs emotion like a sponge and sees the world through a misty lens of compassion and possibility. He's guided by feeling, not fact, by gut, not graphs. He lives in the emotional current of life and often finds himself overwhelmed by its depths. Virgo is earth. She steadies. She structures. She breaks life into digestible pieces and organizes chaos with surgical precision. She's guided by logic, detail, and an instinctive need to understand. She doesn't just feel things, she dissects them. Where Pisces floats, Virgo builds. Together, they form a kind of yin and yang that's rare. Pisces teaches Virgo how to let go, how to trust in the unseen, the intuitive, the irrational beauty of just being. Virgo teaches Pisces how to stand up in the storm, how to take those dreams and give them legs. Where Pisces brings softness, Virgo brings strength. Where Virgo brings clarity, Pisces brings soul. But none of this happens by accident. If Pisces enters this connection thinking Virgo will just get his emotions, he's in for a rude awakening. She doesn't read vibes, she reads behavior. She needs communication, not suggestion. Likewise, if Virgo thinks she can fix Pisces into a more efficient human, she's missing the whole point. His magic lies in the way he resists definition. In the way he feels more than he speaks. Trying to systemize a Pisces is like trying to organize the ocean. This relationship requires conscious effort, daily grace, and mutual curiosity. The Virgo woman must learn to pause her instinct to critique and instead embrace Pisces' process, even when it looks like a mess. She has to resist turning her love into a checklist and instead learn the language of emotional nuance. Pisces doesn't need perfection, he needs presence. The Pisces man must resist the urge to retreat into his inner world when things get hard. Virgo values showing up. If he checks out emotionally, if he drifts too far into avoidance or escapism, Virgo will feel abandoned. He must learn to stand in his feelings and explain them, even if they don't always make sense. But when both choose to lean in rather than pull away, they become something solid. Quietly powerful. A kind of couple that doesn't need to be loud to be lasting. They don't need fireworks to prove they're in love. They just are, steadily, fully, without needing to announce it. Over time, the Virgo woman learns how to hold space for softness. She learns that not everything can be fixed, that sometimes sitting beside someone in silence is enough. She softens. Pisces, in turn, learns how to follow through. How to turn emotion into action, and dreams into routines. He grounds himself in her steadiness and grows in ways he never thought possible. This is a relationship where both people evolve. Pisces finds focus. Virgo finds freedom. Together, they create a bond built on mutual admiration. He's awed by her clarity, she's moved by his heart. And so, can it work? Yes. It can more than work, it can thrive. It can evolve into one of the deepest, most healing, most quietly magnificent partnerships out there. One that grows not in the spotlight, but in the everyday. In the details. In the small moments that others miss. Because at the end of the day, Virgo brings the roots. Pisces brings the sky. And together, they build a life that actually feels like home. Still wondering if your stars are aligned? Let me know in the comments if you've ever loved someone totally opposite from you, and what happened next. And if this journey through the stars sparks something in you, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more Zodiac deep dives, and don't forget to check out other videos on compatibility and astrology insights. Until next time, keep looking up. The answers are written in the stars.